how every GTA 5 protagonist was supposed to end. Michael was supposed to die in Ludendorff. Not literally, but narratively. He did. The prologue isn't set up. It's the ending he never got. GTA 5 opens with a flashback to 2004, a bank heist in North Yankton that goes sideways. Michael Townley takes a bullet, hits the snow, and gets buried in a coffin with his name on it. That's the natural conclusion to a career criminal who burned too many bridges and ran out of moves. Except he didn't die. He cut a deal with FIB agent Dave Norton, faked his death, abandoned his crew, and bought himself a second life in Los Santos as Michael DeSanta, and the entire game is about why that was a mistake. GTA 5 offers 3 endings: Something Sensible, The Time's Come, and The Third Way, but only one lets all 3 protagonists survive, and that survival isn't a reward, it's a trap with no exit. Rockstar used to let consequences land. GTA 4 didn't care about your comfort. Nico Bellic ends that game having lost everything that mattered. You pick deal or revenge, and either way someone close to you dies. Roman or Kate, choose. The game forced you to sit with the weight of that choice because it understood that crime has a cost and you don't get to negotiate your way out. But GTA 5, it gives you option C, Death Wish, the one where Franklin calls Lester, and Lester says, let's kill everyone who's after you instead. So you do. You storm a foundry, gun down waves of FIB agents and Merryweather mercenaries, then split up to hunt your enemies one by one. Trevor kills Steve Haynes, Michael kills Stretch, Franklin kills Wei Cheng, then they regroup, kidnap Devin Weston, stuff him in a trunk, and push his car off a cliff. Roll credits. Everyone survives. Nobody pays. And that's supposed to be the happy ending. Except nothing about these 3 characters was built to sustain survival. They were designed around collapse. And when you let them live, they don't escape their arcs. They just get locked inside them forever. Michael's entire story is about a man who should have died in North Yankton and didn't. The 2004 heist at the cash depot was the endpoint. He was always going to get caught or killed. That's how these things end. But instead of dying, he made a deal. He gave up Trevor and Brad, wore a vest, took Dave Norton's bullet, and walked away from his old life with a new name and a bank account in Los Santos. He thought he was getting out. What he got was witness protection with a pool. By 2013, Michael DeSanta is 50 pounds heavier, medicated for anxiety, trapped in a marriage where his wife openly cheats on him and his kids can't stand to be in the same room. He sits in therapy with Dr. Friedlander trying to explain why he's miserable when he has everything he wanted. And the answer is obvious. He was never supposed to make it this far. He's a dead man who kept breathing. The therapy sessions aren't character color. They're the thesis. Michael is trying to justify his existence in a world that doesn't need him. He got the house, he got the family, he got the clean slate. And it destroyed him, because survival without purpose is just a slower death. When Trevor finds him and the chaos kicks back in the FIB, the heists, the bodies, Michael doesn't resist. He leans into it. He robs a jewelry store, hits an armored car, storms a federal building, breaks into the Union Depository. Not because he needs the money, because he needs to feel alive again. And the only time he feels alive is when he's risking his life. That's not a man who's supposed to walk away. That's a man who's supposed to go out doing what he does best. And when you pick Death Wish and let him live, you're not saving Michael. You're sentencing him. He's still in Rockford Hills, still in therapy, still lying to himself about why nothing feels right. The only difference is now he's got fresh blood on his hands and no excuse left. Survival isn't Michael's happy ending. It's his life sentence. Trevor was always going to be the one who dies. Not because he's a monster, though he is, but because his entire character is built on forward momentum. Trevor Phillips cannot stop moving. If he stops, he has to think. And if he has to think, he has to feel, and Trevor cannot afford to feel. That's the engine. He's a meth head, a killer, a psychopath with abandonment issues so deep they've calcified into his personality. He runs guns, cooks drugs, murders rival gangs, and calls it Trevor Phillips Enterprises. Because giving it a name makes it feel like it means something, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just noise. And the noise is what keeps him from having to admit that the only person who ever mattered to him faked his death and left him behind. Trevor built his entire identity around Michael Townley. They were partners, brothers, and when Michael died in Ludendorff, Trevor didn't grieve. He locked it down and spent 9 years in Blaine County turning his pain into fuel. By 2013, he's the king of Sandy Shores. He's got a trailer, a meth lab, and 2 guys he kidnapped and brainwashed into being his friends. He's got an empire, except it's not an empire. It's a coping mechanism. And when he finds out Michael's alive, when he digs up the grave in Ludendorff and finds Brad's body in the coffin that was supposed to be Michael's, Trevor doesn't break. he keeps going, because breaking would mean admitting he was wrong. And Trevor is never wrong. He just finds out who lied to him and decides whether they're still useful. The game gives you the option to kill Trevor in something sensible. Franklin sets up a meeting. Michael helps corner him. They chase Trevor through the oil fields until his truck slams into a tanker and he's drenched in gasoline, and then Franklin or Michael lights him up. Trevor burns alive, screaming about betrayal while Michael mutters something about survival being the only thing that matters. It's brutal. It's tragic, but it's an ending. Trevor's story concludes. He got too close to the truth, trusted the wrong people, and the world caught up to him. There's weight to that. There's consequence. It means something. But if you pick Death Wish, Trevor lives. And that's darker than any death scene Rockstar could have written, because now Trevor's still out there. Still in Sandy Shores. Still cooking meth, running guns, doing jobs, except now he knows. He knows Michael lied to him for 9 years. He knows Franklin almost killed him. He knows that nobody actually wants him around, they just need him when the job requires someone willing to do the unspeakable. And Trevor's smart enough to understand that. He's not delusional, he's just too stubborn to care. So he stays. He keeps working. He keeps killing. He keeps being Trevor. Not because he's loyal, because he has nowhere else to go and nothing else to be. Trevor alive isn't Rockstar giving him a second chance. It's Rockstar refusing to let him off the hook. He doesn't get closure. He doesn't get peace. He gets to keep being Trevor Phillips forever, fully aware that it doesn't matter and never did. Franklin is 25 years old and already out of options. He starts the game as a repo man in South Los Santos, pulling cars for a crooked Armenian dealership, sleeping on his aunt's couch, watching everyone around him either stay stuck or get killed. He wants more. He wants what Michael has: the house in the hills, the cars, the respect, the life, and by the end of the game, he gets it. He's got the Vinewood mansion. He's got the garage full of high-end rides. He's got the money, the connections, the career. He won. Except he didn't win. He just moved up a tax bracket inside the same system. Franklin didn't escape. He upgraded. He traded Lamar and the families for Michael and Lester. He traded Grove Street for Wispy Mound Drive. He traded small-time repo jobs for high-stakes heists. But he's still taking orders. He's still doing jobs. He's still trapped. After the Union Depository heist, Franklin's living the dream until Steve Haynes calls and tells him to kill Trevor. Then Devin Weston shows up and tells him to kill Michael. And if you pick Death Wish, Franklin becomes the guy who coordinates the whole operation. He's the one who calls Michael and Trevor and says, "We're ending this together." And they do. They kill everyone, they survive, and then what? Franklin's got the house. He's got the money. He's got Lester on speed dial for more work. The assassination missions, those optional side jobs where Franklin kills people to manipulate the stock market, aren't proof he's still working post-game. Only the first one, the hotel assassination, is mandatory. The other 4 are optional. But the point stands, Franklin never stops. He's 25 years old, and he's already the next Michael, the guy in the big house with blood on his hands and no exit strategy. That's not a happy ending. That's the same trap with a better view. GTA 5 is obsessed with the idea of the last score. Every heist is sold as, "This is the big one. This sets us up for life." The jewelry store leads to the FIB. The FIB leads to Merryweather. Merryweather leads to the Paleto Bay setup. The setups lead to the Union Depository, and the Union Depository leads to nothing. You get paid, you get hunted, you kill your enemies, and you're right back where you started, except now you're a bigger target with fewer excuses. The money doesn't buy freedom, the success doesn't buy peace, because the game isn't about winning. It's about the impossibility of stopping, and that's why Death Wish is the darkest ending. Not because it's violent, but because it's the ending where nobody dies and nobody changes. Michael's still miserable. Trevor's still unhinged. Franklin's still trapped. They all survive, but they're not better off. They're just ongoing. The game denies them resolution. It denies them consequence. It keeps them in a loop where they'll keep taking jobs, keep killing people, keep pretending this is what they wanted. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Rockstar looked at the legacy of GTA, the crime, the nihilism, the endless cycle of violence, and said, what if the worst thing we could do to these characters isn't kill them? What if it's letting them win? Michael, Trevor, and Franklin weren't designed to have happy endings. They were designed to have endings. And GTA 5 is the first game in the series where Rockstar looked at that design and flinched. They gave players an out. They gave the characters a future. And in doing so, they created something far more unsettling than any death scene, because now these 3 men are alive. And they have to live with it. If survival in GTA 5 looks this broken, then Trevor isn't the exception, he's the warning sign. That story is next. Watch next Trevor's dark origin story explained, why he became GTA's deadliest maniac. And let us know in the comments your thoughts on the video.